Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another Fog of War puzzle by Megan033. This is the next in line from the series that I've been looking at. I think it's called One Line Through the Fog is the name that he's put to this series. I think there might be one more after this one because this one came out a couple of weeks ago. I'm just getting to it now. But we're going to get this one done because it's the next one in the line that I have done. I've done every other one except for this one now, and then whichever future ones or ones that have been posted past this one at this point. So this one is called Aggregation Through the Fog. Again, it's by Megan033. Always some of the best Fog of War puzzles from Megan. And let's jump into our rule sets and let's get into this thing. So we got normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and of course every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Now, as is normal with these versions of Fog of War puzzles, there is one and only one blue sum line, where box scores divide the line into segments of equal sums. So these blue lines here, whatever the value is here, when you add these three digits together, however this line continues and it can do whatever the heck it wants to do and gets back over to here, every section in each region is going to have that same total value. That is our region sum line. Then we have digits along a magenta Renban form a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. We have one here that we can point to, which is always nice. These three digits, whatever they are, they have to be consecutive, but they don't have to be in any particular order. And we've got a black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. A white dot between cells indicates cells with consecutive values, and not all dots are given. These are our Kropki dots. So these two digits that are on a white dots, they must be consecutive, or they have a difference of 1. These two on the black dot here must be in a 2-to-1 ratio. So whatever this digit is, this one is either half or double of it. And then we have adjacent cells connected with an X must sum to 10. Adjacent cells connected with a V must sum to 5. We have an X clue showing, but we do not have a V clue. But these two on this X must sum to 10 total. Pretend this X is actually a V, then these two digits would have to sum up to 5. Simple enough. And then our final, and I wouldn't say most important, but definitely very important, is Fog of Wars. So the grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. And my example always is, or at least recently is, if we were to magically figure out what this digit is, all of this fog would disappear, and we would hopefully have more information that shows through where we can continue our solve. So those are our rules. Normal rules here for a Fog of War puzzle, at least of this line. So let's get started on this thing and have some fun with it, because we know it's going to be fun. So, as always with Fog of Wars, we have to start where there is no fog, because that's the only place where we're going to have information. And I guess technically that's not entirely true, because there have been Fog of War puzzles where there is no shown openings, but there are like little killer clues or something like that where you can figure stuff out. But in this one, we do have a clearance here to look at. So how the heck are we going to do this? Now, like I said, we have multiple rule sets that we need to look at and try to work out together. We know that these two digits equal to 10, so we know the value of these three digits must be greater than 10. That said, what does that do for us? Because it could really be essentially any, well, could it be, I think it could be almost anything from 11 to 18 or even 19. It could go up to 11 to 19. There's probably some things you can reduce in that instance. If we kind of look through every possible little micrometer of what these things can be, sometimes we have to do that to get going. So at the moment, we're going to try to see if we can find anything that's a little bit more obvious, or something that might poke its head out sooner than that. So we end up with Renban. So we have three digits that must equal, or must be consecutive. Then we have three other 2 pairs of 3 other digits that would have to equal something greater than 10. Now, is there anything in that that's going to give us anything? So we know the bare minimum, I guess, of these digits would be, let's say, 22. We had 11 and 11. Therefore, we'd have to have another 23 left over, which is possible as a 986. And if we had a 986, we could have a 73 here with a 1. And that would leave, what did I just say? 986, 73, and a 1. So we have 2, 4, and 5, which does equal 11. So there are ways that we can make these things work. I was just kind of running through this just to see if there's anything specific that said we couldn't do something like an 11 because it might not have enough value to it. The other way would say, I guess we can't. Well, can we ever get to 19? I guess we probably can as well. I'm sure there's some variation that we could do. Because whatever these would have to be, they would be 10 plus a 9. And we'd have to find 3 other ways, 3 other digits that could get us up to that 19. And if we had 19 and 19, we're looking at 38. And we have 7 left over, which you could do with a 1, 2, 4. So again, it looks like there's probably ways that I can do. I'm not going to go through every iteration again to try to see if that's what it is, at least not yet. So we're quickly running into a lack of information, and I say that lightly because I know there's probably more information than I'm seeing. So let's start thinking further. Now, on I guess one thing we could think of, I don't know if it really works with us though, is we can't, it doesn't give us enough information. We can't put a 5 in any of these cells because we can't put a 5 on a black Kropki because you can't have or double it. And you can't put a 5 on an exclude because you'd have to have 2 5s on it. But again, this is leaving 5 in a lot of different places. This black Kropki, and I'm going to have to start marking things, I think, for me to actually start being able to visualize what's going on here. Is we know that on the black Kropki, it's either 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, or 3, 6. Those are our options. Can any of those be removed from the equation so we can help ourselves figure out what the heck's going on? If we had a 1, 2 here, let's say, this couldn't be a 1, first off, because if this is a 1, that forces this to be a 9, which forces this to be a 1, so we can just remove a 1 from here. Wait, what did I just say? My mind has just lost itself. If this is a 1 and this is a 2, is what I was trying to say. This would have to both be 2s. I don't know where I went with the 9 there, but the point is the same thing occurs, just in stupidity versus reality. How's that? This can't be 1 because it forces 2 on both of these. If this is a 2, I don't think we're going to have any issue there because you could have this be the 4, which it would have to be if this was a 2, and this would be a 3, 7. But if we have a 2, okay, if that doesn't work either, does it? Because if we think about it in terms of what the Renban allows, if this is a 2, this has to be, well, it has to be either 1 or 4. This has to be either 1 or 3. But in either case, we can't get away from this 2 on the Renban. Let's say this is 2, 1, and this is a 4, or a 3, I mean. Well, we've got a 2 here. We can't put a 1 on this thing because we already used it. We can't use a 3 on here because we've already used it, so that 2 is stuck. And if we were to do the 2, 4, this could either be 1 or 3, but the 4 is going to, well, maybe that does that work? If this is a 2, let's think about that further, sorry. Getting my thoughts crossed here. If this is a 2, 1, this has to be 3 and it breaks. because we can't ever get away from the 2. If this is a 2, 4, this is a 3, and this breaks. So yeah, it's each case, we can never get out of here with a 2, because it doesn't allow the Renban to exist. 2, 4, either 1 or 3. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so no 2, which means this can't be a 1 again. Now, I have a feeling that we're going to have similar situations. So if this was a 2, it now forces this to be a 4. But that can work. 2 to 4 allows this to be a 3, and these could be 5 and 6, because the 3 would go with the 7. So there is room in that instance. Now, what if we were to look at it from the other side, like the 8? If this is an 8, this has to be a 4. This could be a 9. This could be 7, 6. So that doesn't break us through either. How about if we could try to remove the 3, 6 possibility? Because that might give us a digit. If we remove if we say we have a 3 here, this is a 6. This would have to be the 2. This would be 3, 4, 5, which would work. We said this would have to go down to a 2, so that we could do the 3, 4, 5, and this would force this to be an 8. And I think all of that does still work. That's a shame. What if we went the other way? If this was the 3 and this was the 6? This can't be a 5, we said. So this would have to go up to 7. And this would have to be 6, 5, 4, and that does work as well, it seems. Well, actually, it doesn't, because if we were to put a 6 here, we just said this would have to be a 3, and this can't be a 5, so it has to be a 7, so we'd have to put another 3 over here. So the 6 actually does break it, which means this can't be a 3. Doesn't seem like we're getting too far on this one in terms of what can and can't work. But we're going to need to push forward, I guess, and see if there's anything else here that's sticking out. Now, I said if this was a 3, this could be a 6. This would have to be a 2. It couldn't go to the 4. No, it can't. It could. If this was 3 and this was 6, this could either be the 2 or the 4. The 3 would have to just go the opposite direction. So if it was 4, this would be 3, 2, 1. That would be 4, 6. But that doesn't work because of if this is 3, this has to be a 6. So this can't be 4 in that direction. Okay, there we go. Ugh. But I still think the 3 works, right? Because if this is 3, this is again 6, this is 2, this has to go 4, 5. That forces this to be the 8. And these guys can be whatever they need to be. Okay. Again, we already said the 8 would work here, because we could at 8, 4. This could be 9, and this could be 7, 6. 9 and 1. The 8 only works here if it goes to the 9. So we're kind of getting some limitations here. What about this 4? Is there anything it does? Well, this can't be a 4, actually. Yeah, it can. Sorry, 4, 8. I just saw that. If this is a 4, this could be a 2. But that would break. Because if this is a 4, 2, the 4 has to either go with the 3 or the 5. No, that doesn't break. It only breaks if it goes to the 4. So this, if it goes to the 5, sorry, this is a 4. I know this is like working this through my head is difficult for me. If this is a 4 and this is a 2, this would have to go to the 3 so that this could do 4, 5, 6. Because if it went to 4 up to the 5, we'd have nowhere to go in that specific scenario. So this would have to be a 3 in that instance. Now, if this is a 4 that goes up to an 8, I have 4 to... I think we have both possibilities in this instance. Well, obviously the 4 can't go to a 5 up here. That will never work because of the X. So the 4-2 will work with this. Or is that completely ruled out? Let me think about that again. Apologies for my slowness here. If this is a 4, this always has to be a 3. So this can't go to a 2, because we'll have 2 and 3. No, it can because of the 5, 6, sorry. If this was the 4 that went to the 8, this still has to be the 3, and this would be a 5, 6. Okay. All right, so I think these are the only options here now that we can work out through the 10, which means that this has to be from 1, a 7, or 8. I feel like this isn't taking me where I want to go, or it's taking me in a direction that I have to really go down the line to see how it works. There's probably something easier we could look at here. What can these equal in these instances that we've created? So if we had the 3 here, we said these could be 1, 2, 3, which I don't think works, right? Because, well, maybe it does. The highest we could ever get these up to, I think we said was 19s, so they would have been 38, which left us 7, which we have to get 1, 2, 4 to get to it. So we cannot do 1, 2, 3 because that's only 6. But if it's a 3, 4, and 5 situation, this would be a 3, 2, 8, 6. The 3, 4, 5 would work because we'd have 12 here. We'd need to... No, that doesn't work. If we have 12 in 3, 4, and 5, that leaves 33. But these values have to be the same. We divide 33 in half, it's 16 and a half. That doesn't work. So I think we can actually rule out the 3 here now in this instance. As we said, 1, 2, 3 doesn't work because it forces this to only equal 6. And the most we can ever get these guys up to is a 38, which means we need a minimum of 7 in here. And then just saying that this could be 3, 4, 5, well, let's not... Hold on, let's make sure we think of the other way. If this, it could technically be a 2, 3, 4, if this is a 3. But that won't work because the 3 has to be consecutive with either the 2 or the 4. So there's no way that will work. Okay, we can rule that out. Good. Okay, so then we go back to the point of can this be 3, 4, 5? And the answer is no, because it equals an even digit, which therefore leaves an odd digit, which has to be divided into 2, which cannot happen. Whew, that is a mouthful of stuff. So this is not a 3, 6 pair. This can't be a 2 anymore. So this can't be an 8 anymore. Now, there must be a 4 in here. And can we break this down even further? Because if it's 2, 4, we know this has to be 4, 5, 6, which is an odd number, which means we'll have an even number left over, which can divide into 2. Okay, let's look at it in case if it's a 4, 8. What does that do for us? If it's a 4, 8, and this is the 4 still, that's what I'm looking at, we end up with 4 here, 3 here, 7 here. So it still has to be 4, 5, 6. Which we said works. Because it'll leave 4, 5, 6 is 15, so it'll leave 30 overall, which can be divided. So the 4 does work. Let's look at the 8 then. If this is an 8, this has to be 8, 7, 6, which is odd. 21, which means these would be even, and again, you can make an even divide into 2. Thinking about this for a second. This is an 8. It must be 8, 7, 6, because this has to be a 9. It's 21. It does leave 24 left over. These would both have to equal 12. And this would just have to be a 2. But that would work with the 8, 4. Maybe there was something in the other 4 version that didn't work in terms of what the remainder would be here. Because if this is, so what did we say it worked both ways? If this was a 4 here, or if the 4 was, yeah, if this was a 4, this was a 2 or an 8. I gotta go back and think about that then. Because if this is a 4, and this was the 2, this has to be 4, 5, 6. We said that does work. If this is the 4, then that creates this as a 3, 7. Wait, so 4, 5, let's look at we have to do the math here. We have the 4, 5, 6 was 15. So these would have to equal 15, each of them. But we just said this has to be 4, 5, 6 in this particular instance. And the 5 would have to go here to be able to make this equal 15. So that doesn't work. Now, if this was the 4 and this was the 8, we had a 2, 3, no, we still have the 4, 5, 6, right? Because if this is a 4, this is always going down to a 3 in this instance. So this always has to go up to 4, 5, 6. And that, again, puts us at 15 here, which means all of these must equal 15. 10 has to have a 5 with it, and we've already put the 5 on here. So I'm very tempted to put an 8 here, and I think I've worked this all out in such a way, while crushingly slow, is actually useful. I'm going to do a quick think around just to make sure I'm not messing anything up here. Because no matter what the 4 is, it has to have the 5, 6 to be able to work, which instantly breaks the puzzle. So this must be an 8. It has to be. It is. Okay. Whew, thank goodness. Oh, that took a long time to figure that out. And I'm sure there's much easier ways to do it, but that'll now give us a 9 and it'll give us a 1. And this will have to be a 4. And everything is clearing, so that's a good sign. Oh. Now, if this is an 8, these have to be 7 and 6, so we can go back to our math. Oh, we have 21, so we have to get our 24 and divide it in half, which is 17. So this would have to be 7. And these would be... What am I? That doesn't work. I just thought of this wrong, didn't I? Yeah, I just can't do math because I'm stupid. 8, 6, and 7 is 21, but we're not left over. I mean, we are left over with 24, but we're not dividing 24 in half and getting 17 like an idiot would say. We're getting 24 and dividing it in half and getting 12. So this would have to be a 2. These have to be from 3 and 5. 3 and 5 is 8 plus 4 is 12. So we did it correctly. I'm just an idiot. So there we go. Boy, that was brutal to start. I hope you guys found a better way to do it than I did. Let's put in our possibilities here. We know this must be either 1, 4, or 2, 3. So only way you can make 5. This can't be a 4. So this can't be a 1. That is going to do what for us? Well, it means this has to either be 6, 7, or 8. It appears that it can be. We also know these two digits must equal 12 because we've now determined that our region sum line has a value of 12. Actually, let me put this up here so it shows that we already know the fog. We don't need that as part of our understanding here. So these two digits must equal 12, but there's a bunch of ways that can work. Which isn't super helpful, is it? Because we can do 9, 3, 8, 4, and 7, 5. None of those are, well, we can't do 7, 5. I think about it. Because of this X and this black Kropki. Because if we were to put 7, 5 on here, we can't put the 5 on an X and we can't put the 5 on a black Kropki. So we're looking at either 9, 3, or 8, 4. And there's going to be a specific way that each one of these will work. Now, of course, this one can't be 9 by this and by the black Kropki, so we could have just gotten rid of that immediately. So this can't be 9, 3 this way. This can't be the 8, so this can't be, and this can't be the 4. So it's either a 4, 8 in this way, or it's a 3, 9 in this way. And that leaves this with either being 1 or 2, because this has to equal 10. This 3, 4 means this is either a 6, a 2, or an 8. Now, that 2, 6, 8 means this is either a 2, 8 pair completely, or it's a 6, 4 pair. Can it be a 2, 8 pair? It can be, because this, if this is 2, 8, this becomes 1, 4, 6. Can we remove the 4, 6 possibility? If this is a 4, 6 pair, this is a 2, 3, and this is either 7 or 8. Both of those also seems to work. Okay. So there's got to be something in here that will differentiate these two. And if I have to struggle through it, that's what I'm going to do. So where are we with it? Let's see. I mean, 4, 6 does work. And it puts a, well, let's look at in this operation, see if there's anything there that works. Because it may be that we're looking at getting, well, I don't see anything really pinching this guy. So it might not be anything. If this is a 4, 6, this is a 3. This has to be a 9 and a 1. And this is 4, 6. This is a 2, 3 pair. And I said this had to then either be 7 or 8. Nothing seems to break that in this instance. Okay. Now the other option of, well, what if we looked at it from an opposite perspective? What if this is 8, 4? This would be 8, this would be 4, this would be 2. That would force this to be a 6, 4. And that puts us in the same ballpark of 2, 3, 7, 8. Which also appears to work. So how the heck is this guy going to work itself out? Think. Now this is a 10 clue. I just wanted to verify with myself that it is. It is. There's nothing else in our rules that's going to help me here, so I need to use the old gray matter. Could we have ruled something out between these two in the options that we provided? We said if this was a 9, 3, this is a 6. If this is a 4, 8, this is a 2. This can't ever be an 8, can it? Because if this... Yeah, because if this is 8... Okay, I just didn't see that. If this is 8, this is 4, and this is also 8. So that never works. This is not 8. Therefore, this is not 2. Is that enough to push us forward? Now we have, again, our 2-8 pair, which forces this to be a 1-4 pair with a 6. Or it's a 4-6 pair, which gives us our 2-3 with either the 7 or the 8. That doesn't seem to do it. Okay, let's continue then looking back this way. Yeah, if this is a 4-8, that's a 2. Oh, that becomes a 1. That doesn't work. Okay. I just hadn't fully looked at the way all of these interact with each other. Because if this is a 4-8 pair, this has to be 2 because the 8 has to go with the 2, and therefore this is broken. So this is a 3. This is 9. This is 1. This is 6. This is 4. This is not 4. This is not 1. And this is a 2-3 pair, so this is not a 6. It's a 7 or an 8. Okay, we have more information. Thank goodness. This 4 actually has to go with a 5 because it can't be with a 3. We also know that these 3 digits must add up to 8 because our value is 12, and we already have a 4 on it. So one of these is a 1. I think we can actually just determine what this is, right? There's only 2 ways to make an 8 in 3 cells. It's 1, 2, 5, and 1, 3, 4. We already have a 4, so this is just a 1, 2, 5. This cannot be 5. This cannot be 2 by Sudoku. So we have a 5 in one of these guys here. And we also have, what's remaining here? We have to put a 3 down here because it cannot go on a Kropki, on this Kropki, and it can't go because of the wonders of Sudoku. We also need to put a 9 down here, so let's just put that. It's a 3-9 pair, which means these have to be 7, 8 on this Kropki, which I guess technically we don't even need that Kropki to determine that, but that's fine. It works. Now, we can write these digits in, but I want to look down here first because I think this black Kropki is going to be a bit more restricted because we can't use a 1, a 3, or an 8. So this cannot be 3, 6 because of the 3. It cannot be 1, 2 because of the 1, and it cannot be 4, 8. So it only leaves a 2, 4. That's all it can be. And these 2 digits end up being the 6 and 7. We'll put those in. Now, what about these digits? Is there anything in here? We know one of these is a 3 because this Oh, no, we don't. Sorry. I'm being dumb again. Let's step back. We know we have to have... Maybe it's better just to look at this guy. Because I don't quite see anywhere else. So we obviously can't do 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. So it has to be from 6, 7, and 8 because we can't go up to a 9. So there has to be a 7 in here. We know we have a 7 down here, so the X-Wing doesn't really help us any. Here, we have whatever's left over from here and a 2 or a 4. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8. This can't be 2 or 4. So this is a 6, 7, 8 triple. Therefore, this is our 2, 4 pair here. Okay. We also have a 6, 7, 8 going up here now, which I find somewhat interesting because it can tell us what these digits are. They have to be from 1, 3, and 5. And I don't quite think that's going to give us enough down here because we still have this option of a 2, 4 somewhere. But we definitely need to have an 8 and a 9 down here, so we can remove this as an 8. And we have a 6, 7 pair. So this is going to be 8, 9, and whatever's left over from the 2 or the 4. I'm going to put those in for now. Sadly, that didn't quite give me an opening that I wanted to see, but I might again just be missing something. Again, quick look at the rules just to make sure there's not a negative constraint. There is not. Okay. We could have also just said that's not an 8 by saying this was a 6, 7, 8 triple, but what fun is that? Now, this, I guess we can say that this line comes in here and it has to get out somehow. It's probably very difficult to make any assertions as to how it goes, because it could have multiple patterns of how it works around. I guess what we can say is that it cannot contain both the 6 and the 7. Because if it did, that would automatically be a 13, and our value is 12. So we know it either has a 2 or a 4. It has to at least be able to get up to 12. So it has to take on another digit inside the area plus one of the 6s or 7s. Is there anything we can really do with that? Now, if it's a 2, let's say this is the 2, what it really seems to mean is that we have to get 10 more. But we can't really decide that, can we? Because the one way to look at it, if this is a 2, we need 10 more. You could pick a 3 up from either one of these two, doesn't matter which one, and then hit a 7 in either one of these two, doesn't matter which one. But it also could mean that if this is a 2, it picks up a 1 and a 3, and then it picks up a 6 from either one of these two. And the 1, 3 could happen down here, we don't know. Okay. Let's go hunting for more digits then, I guess. These have to be from 2, 4, and 5. We know... Don't know what we know. I'm going to mark this because we know one of them has to be a 5. So that's there for me, at least. We know there's a 7 up here somewhere. 3, 9 means there's no 9s in any of these, so one of these is a 9. It just puts a 9 out here somewhere. Like I said before, this one is really testing my brain power. I don't know if I'm just having a bad day or what, but so far the puzzle is winning. Now we can't really say much about this guy either. We know this line comes out here, but it has to at least take this one plus one more cell, but it could do it could do a bunch of different things that we just can't see. The only thing we can say, I guess, is that it can't turn this corner because we don't see a little nub in here. But other than that, there's plenty of things it could do. What is it? There must be some way to find one of these digits out. And I don't quite know how to do that. 6 of sevens. And again, we know one of these is an 8. Just trying to find anything here that we might be able to put together with something else just to move the needle. Now, we know this has to be a 2-4. I don't think that does a whole lot. Can we say anything about... I looked at the 2 here, but... Can it be a 4? Maybe I should have continued along that track and see if there's any way to rule it out. If it's a 4, we have to get up to 8. And again, there's ways it can get out. It could just be a 1-7 in some operation. Now, clearly it can't be 4-3-5 because then it can't get out at all. But again, the fact that it can be either one does cause a little bit of heartburn. 2s and 3s. I can't do much with this stuff. Do. And I don't see anything across these lines that seems to do a whole lot. I mean, we can start... I mean... We know there's a 2 down here. That's not doing anything for us. There are some things I guess we can rule out from this area. But is it going to be enough to really make any kind of influence? Because we know this can't be a 2 or a 3. It could easily be a 1, 4, a 5, 6, a 7, or an 8. That's just so much going on there that it just does not appear to have enough impact at this moment. So we know one of these has to get picked up. So 2 of these are on the line somewhere. And they have to pick up another source. So it cannot just be these 2. It has to come back in somehow and then get back out. Like I said previously, there's options there that can't necessarily say what must be going on there. Well, if I'm just going back to make sure I didn't screw up any math or something like that, because it's very possible that could have occurred, and therefore I'd just be stuck in this pit because I can't go any further because I've made a mistake somewhere. I don't think I've done so. I really cannot see the next move here. And it's already been 45 minutes and I'm not even halfway through this puzzle. That's not a great place to be at. What are you? Is there anything in any of these that would create problems elsewhere? So if this is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 7. Don't see that being an issue. If this is a 7, it forces these two to be 7s. But I don't see how that filters down. This is an 8. I mean, it does. It becomes 8, 2, 3. I mean, we do have a 3 X-wing here, but again, these are minor little notes that I'm not being able to use. Okay, come on, buddy. You can figure this out. Oh, I'm being really freaking blind. My goodness. I found this was a 4. Therefore, what does this mean this is? I don't know why. I'm like this. Oh, that's so frustrating. Okay. This is no longer a 2. Let's just get back on the horse here. So we know now these 3 digits must add up to 10. So it's going to have to be the 136. Because that's the only way we can make a 10 work, right? Yes. So this is 6. This is 5. This is 7. Let's get rid of all this garbage that we don't need. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Now we've got more information we can work with, right? We've got an X clue here. Can this ever be a 9? I think the answer is actually no. Because if this is a 9, we've got 3 left. We've got to be able to get, or not, yeah, we've got 3 left. So we have to have a 1 and a 2. So if this is a 9, it comes into here. This has to be a 1. But this also has to be a 1. This would have to be 9, 1, and then pick up any of wherever these 2s are. It doesn't matter which one it is once we get past that. Because once we get the 9, obviously our value has to equal 12, so we just left ourselves with a 1 having to go here, and then it breaks everything. So this is not 9. Now, on the other hand, can this be a 9-1 pair? If this is a 1, we have essentially the world to work with still, because we have 11 more, so we can't really make much out of that. What are the other options? Let's just look at the options of a 10 without worrying about the region subline. We've got 9-1, which works. We cannot do 8-2, we cannot do 7-3, and we cannot do 6-4. So it is just 9-1. So we had to just look at it from the opposite side. This is 9, this is 1. Continuing on, this is 5. These are not 5s. So we've got a 1-2 pair here. We can get rid of our 1 here. Has anything else been loosened up by some of this stuff? And I don't quite think so yet. What about this guy? It's a black Kropki. Now, I don't want to look at this guy yet because, again, like I said, if this is a 1, this thing could come down here and it could still come back up because we can't see behind the fog. And then it could do whatever it wants to. So it's not necessarily that it does this and this. But I guess what we can say is that if it this, that's no matter what, we'd be at 3. Then we'd have to figure out a way to get 2 more digits to 9. Yeah, but that doesn't seem right. Let's look at this first. Now, sadly, the 5, 7, and 9 are looking at this, and those are the only digits that don't matter here. So let's look at what can be. We'll just put them all in here. We know this one can't be 1 or 2. We know this can't be 3. This can't be 6 then. This can't be 1. Because we wouldn't have anything a 2 to put it with. This could be a 4, 8 pair. No, it cannot, because this is left over as 4, 8. So neither one of these can be 8. Okay. This can't be 4 anymore. So we've actually reduced that down quite heartily, which is surprising. So it's either a 3, 6 or a 4, 2. And is any of that something we can figure out? We must be able to. So if this is 3, 6, we've got 7 right here so far. We've got to get to 12. So we'd need 5 more. This would just have to be a 5. It's the only way it would work in that instance. Because we'd have to make up the entirety of it. We wouldn't be able to come back up. Because if this is 1 and 6, this is 3, like we said. Now we have to have 2 digits that equal up to 5. And we can't do 4, 1, or 3, 2. So in the specific instance that this is a 6, this is a 5. What about the specific instance where this is a 2? We have 3. We have to get 9 total. If this is 2, this would be 4. We've got to be able to create these 2 digits equaling to 9 without doing 8, 1, 7, 2, or 5, 4. So that means there's no way to do it. Because obviously if we can't just use a straight 9, because we'd have 1 and 3, and then to be a single digit to get there would just be a single 9, but we have a 9 on the lost here. So I think that says this has to be a 6, because I don't see how this could ever be a 2 and work. Because again, we have 3 total. These 2, because it has to come back up to this cell, because it would have to have another digit. They have to equal 9, because we couldn't go for a third digit, because if we did that, we've already used the 1 and the 2. The other 3 digits would have to either have a 1 in it to create 9, or they'd be a 2, 3, 4, and we just said we've already used the 2. So that option is out. If it was 2 more digits, again, we have to create a 9 within these 2 digits. We can't do 8, 1. We can't do 7, 2. The 2 is already used. We can't do... Can we do 6, 3? Did I skip over that completely? We could do a 6, 3, couldn't we? This would have to be the 3. And this would have to be a 6. But that doesn't work because we have a 1, 3 over here. Oof, okay, so that did rule it out. In fact, we can just put this here. Let's get rid of that. This can't be that 6 like we said. So I think this, again, this does have to be a 6. Because we cannot make this work otherwise. And therefore, this is a single digit, which has to get us up to a 12, which means it has to be a 5. This has to be a 3. This now has a 2 on it. It can't have a 1 with it, and it's a black Kropki, so it's a 2, 4. And these 2 digits are, what, 7 and 8? So we end up with some 7, 8 pairs here, which is good because it removes 7 and 8 from here. In fact, this moves 5 from here as well. So we're down to this being a 4 or a 6. In fact, we know what these 3 digits are, don't we? They have to be from 4 6, and 9. This can't be 4. Okay. We also, well, we don't quite know what the rest of these are. It would be nice if we did, but we know it's going to have a 1, 5, and either a 7 or an 8. This can't be a 1. Okie dokie. 7, 8 here sees this. This can't be 8. This 2 actually just looks over here. So let's do the simple stuff again. Stop missing easy things, because that's killing me. That 4 then comes back and sees this 9. And we don't have, yeah, we don't quite have anything looking back here to finalize that yet. But we do know what these 3 digits are, and we're just going to tell us what I think this pair must be, and therefore will give us this digit. So these must be from 3, 6, and 5. You got it. This is a 5. These are a 3, 6 pair. Now, we have a line that we know does this because we can see it through the fog. So we've got 1, 2, 3 digits that are open plus a 5. Now the 5 from the 12 is going to give us 7. So therefore these have to be a 1, 2, 4 quad. This can't be 1 or 2. So this is 4. And that proves to us that that was accurate. This has to now be 8 and 4. And this digit here is going to be a given as well, which is 8. And these 2 digits are given as 7 and 9. Okay, now we can look back up here. Our previous pencil markings, these can't be 4 or 5, so it is a 2. Oof. And nothing up there just yet. These 2 digits we know have to equal to 10. They could be a 1-9 pair. They cannot be a 2-8 pair. They could be a 7-3 pair, but this can't be our 7. So therefore this can't be a 3. And they cannot be a 6-4 pair. Okay. We almost have something right there. That's fine. What else do we have? We've got this Kropki dot now, which cannot be 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8, 9. So it just has to be 6, 7. I think that's the only possibility here. Let's look at that again just to make sure we don't screw this up. Can't be 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. It can be 6, 7. It cannot be 7, 8, or 8, 9. Yeah, it's a 6, 7. So this is not 7. This is not 3. So this is our 1-9 pair, which does equal our 12 total. And we're going to get this digit as a, you named it, 3 in a corner. Deet, deet, doot. There we go. Now, we do have this 6-7 pair. Finally, something that can look in here. Let's get rid of this stuff. And thank goodness we're starting to break this out because it's almost been an hour. This has been a rough one for me to get started on. And like I said, I'm sure you guys have gotten through this a little faster than I have, but it is what it is, as I like to say. So what do we have? We got these 2 digits have to add up to something. And that something is either 6 or 5. Because this is either a 4-2 pair, which is 6, so therefore 6 is left over, or it's a 4-3 pair, which is 7, which means there's a 5 left over. And this can never equal 5, because we cannot make 2 digits equal 5 in this region, because we can't do a 1-4, because the 4 is already used, and we can't do a 2-3, because it's right there. So this has to be the 2, and this has to be the 3, and this has to be the 7. So now we know these have to equal 6. The only way we can equal 6 is with a straight up 1-5 pair. Get rid of this. We're going to find this digit out, and it's going to tell us if we screwed up or not. It's an 8. We did not. Good. Then this has to be 7, 8. All of our fog has now dissipated. Let's try to look back, see if this created any type of a pattern that I can see, but I don't see anything specifically there. If you guys happen to, or Megan, if you watch this video, I'm sure you will. You tend to watch mine when I do your puzzles. If that has any significance, I'm curious. It might just be a line that kind of semi looks like something. And that's all I was really seeing. But anyway, what can this guy be? It can't be 1, 2. It could be 2, 4 in a very specific way. It could be 4, 8 in a specific way. And it cannot be 3, 6. So I think this just has to be 4. Again, it can't be 1, 2 because the 1, 2 pair is looking at it. If it was 2, 4, we have the 2 and the 4 looking. So this is 2, this is 4. If it's 4, 8, we have the 4 and the 8 looking at it. So this has to be the 8. This has to be the 4. And again, the 3, 6 is out. So this is a 4. Full stop. 5, 4. This can't be 7 anymore. So this is either, well, it can't be 4. So this is just 6. And that's going to give us our 8. Let's get rid of that stuff. We won't do too much cleaning because we don't need to. This 2 over here actually just gives us our 1 and our 2 and our 9 and our 1 and our 3 and our 9. And I am so happy that I've gotten through this. 9, 7. What else do we have here that we can finish off? Let's look at this. These are givens of 3, and how did I just break this? Hold on. Of course I spoke too soon. I always speak too soon. Let's go back. I think this is the point where I might have screwed something up because I might have just mismarked this, but I want to go back and make sure I'm not being stupid. This cannot be 1, 2. It could be 2, 4. It could be 4, 8. It cannot be 3, 6. This can't be 8 or 2. This has to be 4. This is either 2 or 8. That 4 makes this a 5 and a 4. This 5 has to be consecutive with something, so it has to be 6. This has to be 7. This has to be 3. This has to be 6. These 2 digits, I'm going to move away from what I did previously, just to make sure I'm not insane. I think I did have a mismark here somewhere. I think it was the 7, 9. Somehow I put an 8 down in here, I think is what happened. This has to be from 3 and 8. This can't be 3, so it is 8, and this is 3. Now we can go back and try something else. This is 1, 2 again. This is 9 and 1 and 3 and 9. It now seems to be lining up. And I think I just made a mismark down here somewhere. The 7 means this is 9 and 7, not 8. The 2 here is a 1 and a 2. This is just a given digit of 9, which means this is a given digit of 1, 5, 1. And there's something here that I'm not seeing real quick. Let's put these in then. Maybe that's what it is. We need a 5 and an 8. This must be 5. This must be 8. You've got a 6, 7. Oh, we also, the 3 here is the 5 and the 3. What is going on here? This has to be 6 because of this 9. So this is 9. This 7 is giving us our 6 and 7, which has been there for a while, but we were doing other things, so it's not a big deal. This is 6 and 7. This is 7. This is 8. We now know this is 7. And this can't be 8, so it must be 6. And this is 8. And please, dear God, be correct. It is. Thank you. You solved the puzzle. Solution is correct. That took me over an hour, and it probably shouldn't have because I missed a 2 over here that probably took me a few minutes to see what it was. And I'm sure there was other stuff in here that I didn't pick up as quickly as I could have, particularly the start. Let me know if you guys had a more clever way of determining this start than I had, because I really had to pick through every single possible option to be able to rule out what some of the stuff was. Now, granted, that might have very well been what you had to do, but I'm always curious to see what you guys do, because you all tend to mostly solve these things better than I do. So anyway, of course, as always, a beautiful Fog of War puzzle from Megan033. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes, but if I did, you'll point it out in the comments below. I'm positive. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.